found a place south of town to rent from Harlan Wormley.
Oh, that was a
Big
real.
two-story farmhouse, which kids used to get lost
You
in.
didn't like the spider.
Well, you know what? That's funny because
I had
my friend
nightmares in
Debbie
that
lived
house.
Same house.
Endless nightmares.
You did.
Who did?
Yeah.
Debbie.
Okay. We had lots of space for two small boys to roam around in. We lived there till we had a Cape Cod style house built on a 5-acre piece of property we bought southeast of Sheridan Line. And for what it's worth, the builders were
Not too
Wheaton and
far from
Morrow
Calico.
Construction.
Who was it? Wheaton and Morrill?
What?
Not too far from Calico.
Yeah. We've lived there since December of 1973, 41 years. Probably there 50 years.
Well, 49, well, honey, we've been since 73, so.
In 1977, when they were balanced, we decided to increase the family size by a couple more children. Yes,
Oh, there we go.
they were intentional.
And
They were intentional.
They were intentional, despite all rumors to the
They were
contrary.
planned.
Well, they were planned, but they wanted to
There was
have
like
a
a
girl.
couple I knew
That's
that
the
just
only
had
thing
that
that
one
was
child.
Everybody should have.
They should have done something before
There's
him.
many stories as to why that happened, but.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
anyway, somebody said, asked
You
us.
guys knew I was gonna need a bus boy.
Need a
They
bus.
didn't realize down the road that there'd be.
In fact, what was it, somebody said, well, were you married to the same spouse, and 10 years later? You know?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's like 10 years later, you have different, you know.
Dave got here in 78, excuse me, David got here in 1978.
Yes, he did.
And Tim got here in 1980. In June.
And you never.
2 years apart.
They made it
You
December.
remember?
And I raised 5 children now.
No, you only raised 4 children.
As most
trying to
of you
say?
know, we're still at the same residence.
Yeah, I know.
Where we plan on staying.
Yeah, through here.
So to recap some of the details.
We have 2 kids.
I are 3 years apart in age. We courted 3 months, actually 4. We're married on April 4th, 1964. Mom Cuman's birthday, by the way.
Oh,
I thought you guys were engaged 9
And,
months. That was the story I always remember.
1965, Tom 1968, David 1978, and
Said 3
Timothy
months or something.
1980.
And everybody had the middle name Lee.
Everybody had the middle name Lee. I didn't want any
Not
juniors,
Don.
but I wanted to tie everybody together somehow, so.
So did I, Don.
Okay.
I did.
And Lee has no meaning whatsoever.
Okay, okay, you left out some details. So
Except his name.
tell about you worked at the canoe rental for a while too, and or ran a canoe rental.
Yeah, I ran a canoe rental in Yorkville, and I was one of the first ones in the area. I was the first one in the area, as far as I know. And that was in the 60s, and Ralph Freese out of Chicago was the only other canoe rental in the area. And he was rented out of Chicago. But I would actually do drop-offs and pickups, which they now do.
Oh, yeah.
They did.
He started that.
Well, I'll take credit.
You'll take credit for being the
But
first.
I had a small Dodge.
Was it
Is that the van?
Oh, yeah, that
Oh.
was the.
I don't know a van.
You had a Ford, yeah.
Valiant.
Dodge Valiant with a V8.
I don't know if
Stick.
you've seen them. They're little sport cars.
That's what I pull a trailer around. Not in a car, let me tell
It
you.
was a little sport.
But I basically tore a transmission out of it, pulling it down hills.
Sounds.
Sounds like
See,
Tom.
that's why
They're actually
Jim
clutch.
had to put your all in that heavy.
And then you and mom
So
were.
then we upgraded to a blue Dodge van.
I remember that
which is
van.
what I used to carry people. Because what I do is we park the cars, we take the drivers down to the endpoint, wherever they were gonna get out, and we drop the cars off, and I'd bring them back to where we dropped the canoes off, and they would paddle down, spend as much time as they wanted to on the Fox River, and then later that day, or next day, whatever the case may be, I'd go back and pick up the canoes, and of course, they had their cars there, so they, you know, could do their own thing. And that was kind of a lot of fun.
Honey, I did know.
And then mom actually helped a little. But then you two also did the youth
Yeah, Rosie helped.
youth service or youth
Yeah,
ministry.
we were youth advisors for the United Methodist Church in Yorkville. In fact, it was funny because a lot of the kids that I ended up being, we used to be having in the fellowship, ended up working at Caterpillar. I was never known by any other name other than Mr. Burke to all those kids, and it was kind of funny walking around the plant being called Mr. Burke. Whatever.
And Mom, you worked at when we were in Sheridan. You worked, or what about this? There was a co-op place or something.
Milk company.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, Yorkville's, it's a bottling company.
Yeah.
While they're working.
Was that when you were married though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when we had Tim and Dave, and I didn't work there long. because-
What about the co-op place? Wasn't there a?
Which
At
was
that time, we did not have Timothy. That was when Joe and Tom were here. But you worked at the bottle factory. We still lived in New York.
Yeah, Tim and Dave didn't come along until
Yeah. so-
Sheridan.
Well, you guys were living in Sheridan, so I imagine you didn't work in
That's
Yorkville.
right, because I remember the boys hated going there because the young child they had was very hyper. Just a real
The
problem.
babysitter.
So I just know it was a child, honey. And my two boys just didn't want to go, so I just finally put the bottling company in. Went back home and did my thing.
So you actually took Tom and Joe to the
Yeah.
company when you
Yeah.
worked there?
I took them to
No.
this babysitter.
Okay.
But it
Oh,
was
oh.
short term because it wasn't working out, and I thought I'll just go back home and just.
I remember
be
the
a mom. And due time, my years would happen when I could be out working.
When did you start cleaning houses, by the way?
When I started cleaning houses, let's see, I'm trying to think. I started cleaning houses at Vedder's. Dad was laid off from Caterpillar,
Okay.
and Dad was employed there, and then they needed a housekeeper. And
About
I
80
cleaned at Vedder's for about 12 years.
82 or 3 or something.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
Cat would go on these extended strikes.
layoff.
Oh man, yeah.
And
Yeah.
we would basically go into a layoff mode. We was able to draw unemployment. And we actually qualified for food stamps on a couple of
And
those.
Mhm.
cheese.
I never ate so well as when we were on food stamps. Because you can only buy certain quality foods,
Quality.
you know. Yeah, like meat, real
No
meat.
booze. Had to cut out the
as opposed
booze.
to just beans and
And the cigarettes.
They didn't get out the cigarettes, so I didn't-
little bit of cash for it.
Yeah, they didn't pay for the cigarettes. So we could have probably ate better if we hadn't both
And see,
smoked.
I did the Vedder's and then.
Well, yeah, they smoked for-
Well, Mom didn't smoke when we were growing up.
Yeah, I cleaned that co-op.
So
and
Dad
then I got
quit
tired of cleaning,
and then
I
started
worked
up
at
again.
Calico's for a while. And I worked at
I don't know if
Calico's
he's-
and I baked for Calico's.
And that
I
bar,
went
you
to-
worked at that
I
bar.
went to the corner tap and
cafe.
did pizza over there. and
Yeah,
Then I went back to housekeeping, up cleaning,
yeah.
so, still doing a couple.
Remember-
Any other additions, corrections, or
What?
comments?
David's confused.
No, this is what made you start working at like a bar or.
In the kitchen.
I worked at the corner tap in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
I remember that. I remember you working in the kitchen. You were
Yeah.
working.
Well,
I know you complained about the guy making the pizzas all the time because like, oh, the food was like kind of like a little old.
He was an old man,
Actually-
and he was fine with some of his ethics, and he claimed he couldn't see. One time I threw out a big can of mushrooms, and it was blown up
Oh, gee.
at both ends. Yeah, he says,
What's that?
Rosie,
Slow it down.
yeah, he says, Rosie, those are okay.
That's what made the pizza its special flavor.
It's gonna kill the bacteria.
It was a sauerkraut. He was
Sauerkraut.
Plus
And then,
mushroom.
I went through John Kowalski, who was really the head licensed, you know,
I hope so.
instead of going through Carl, because Carl's, I mean, he had his ethics about the way he put the,
Everybody loved pizza though, but I
Yes,
didn't,
they
I
did.
didn't hear that about him.
yes, and, you know,
Cigarette, they used to
yeah.
say
Well,
look
that
out for
was
cigarette
because
ashes and
Yeah, and-
always smoking.
That was the extra flavor.
You
Yeah.
never had gloves, so you went from your sausage to
Boy.
mushrooms, from your sausage.
Oh
to
boy.
everything like,
Damnation.
but you're gonna cook it in a hot
Now we gotta
oven.
take it.
It's amazing that place never got sued.
No, you're amazed at the place that got
But
shut
yeah, that's
down.
why you put it in the oven at 700 degrees.
Yeah. But it did teach me how to.
Kills all the.
Whiskey in beer.
Those people were having so many beers.
But he did teach me how to cook crap, you know.
Those people had so much alcohol and they didn't know the
Were you
difference.
there for 5 years?
About 4, I think it's 4
Oh, this
years.
pizza's delicious.
I got one day, I'm not gonna say it because this was rather vulgar of Carl's comment.
Oh, really? Whoa.
But I said to him, I said, Carl, I said, you know what? You don't say that to me. A lot of the girls, you know, would cook there and they would sit out in the barn. I never went out in the barn, my job was good. But anyways, he said, He made a comment to me, it was very vulgar, and I said, you know what, my husband has done that to me, but I said, you're not gonna tell me that. I sort of walked out that night, I didn't come back the next day.
Don't want
That's
to
a
know.
bar.
And Carl didn't do it again.
Can you edit that
Some
out?
more
He
information.
knew that I was a worker in the kitchen, not a bar.
You never know with some guys.
That's
they
the
just
good
think,
stuff,
"Oh, I
Tim.
got a woman, you're not safe."
Qualifies as TMI, so for those of you listening, straight
Does everybody seem to get?
I think actually this, we got pizza one year for the party.
Yeah,
Like they gave it to the grade schoolers.
you what?
They bought it for the grade schoolers.
Oh, Carl Pizza, yeah.
They
I still have
bought
people say that, but they
pizza from the corner tap for the
I've had
kids
pizza
at
from
grade
there.
school
Oh,
From
yeah.
the corner tap.
years ago.
Yeah, he did have good, he made his own pizza, his own crust, I mean, it was
That guy
really
likes
good, but I wish I could still get your
Double
crust,
safety
so I
thing.
could take it.
Oh, right.
Killing some
The
kids.
dough, the one that do.
I'm trying to say, you wanna make you some crust?
It's amazing, so
Yeah,
much,
it's
so
an
you
easy crust.
can
I did want to say one thing too, Steve also worked at Caterpillar, and I think with that, did Dad help on that too, Steve?
No.
Because if you don't mind if I say that, because Steve had what, you had only an 8th grade education, did you,
Right.
Steve?
Mr. Funk up again.
Right,
He
okay,
was a
He was supervisor over,
Then I worked, and he saw me work, and asked me to hire him,
yeah.
and he gave me a job.
And you know, for these guys to get a job nowadays, that wouldn't happen, because when Don
But he had
went
to
in,
pass
Don didn't weigh enough. And the guy
Yeah,
said,
that was
"You
funny.
fill that billfold and drink all the water you
I went
can."
in to weigh in, I think I was
You had to put stuff in his.
129.
Stick that in your pocket.
It had to be 130. He says, go drink as much water
And
as you
fill
can.
that,
And he gave me this damn billfold, I swear that thing weighed 5 pounds.
was
I don't know
that,
how he could put that.
was
They didn't make you strip down, Dad?
No, I didn't put anything in.
Was that Dick's
No,
time?
I just drank a lot of water and he gave me his billfold and I passed the test, you know, the physical that they gave.
but you don't do that.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
130 pounds?
Was what?
So-
But anyway, I hired in there, into your 2-year training program. I was actually supposed to be running the place, you know, after about 5, 10 years.
Oh, they want to be a white collar man
I-
after.
I